Hi, Ruby. It's really nice to have you on talking to me about the furry community at UNC Asheville. I understand that you're a part of the Fur Club on campus. So if you want to quickly just give me a glance of what that looks like or like how you're involved.
hmm Well, I've only just gotten involved with it uh about a week or so ago. I really like drawing like anthro characters and stuff. I I haven't gotten into fursuiting myself, although I
Gotcha.
do think it's a very cool thing. I draw a lot of cartoons and like some of that involves anthropomorphic characters, and so I thought when I went to Rocky Palooza, I saw some of the members of the club wearing their
Right.
fursuits, and I was like, well, that's interesting. That's really cool. And then I saw the flyer in Highsmith, and I thought, well, why not? So that's how I joined.
That's awesome. That's really cool to hear that there's a community here on campus for that. So more of a conceptual question. What is a furry? What constitutes somebody as a furry? Like how does a person get involved? What does that look like?
I would say that a furry in concept is really just an animal that has human characteristics. So, you could make the argument that a lot of characters that you might have grown up with could be seen as furries, like Robin Hood as the fox from
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Disney.
I didn't think about that before.
And I think that really the thing that would make somebody a furry is the label, because even though I drew anthropomorphic characters a lot, like from the time that I was a kid, I never really identified as part of the community until like very, very recently, because I was like, I'm not incredibly involved with the community, so I don't feel like that label is it describes me correctly. But now that
Gotcha.
I want to get more involved with the community, I'm like, yeah, I would be all right with that label.
So, from my understanding, it's more about a community rather than individual like effort, if that makes any
Well,
sense.
to me, it is. Yes, I
Gotcha.
think that
Okay.
it's
So it's
different
different to everybody.
for everybody, but yeah.
Cool. All right. And that leads me to my next question. So is being a furry more about like your artistic involvement or is it like an identity thing? I've seen a lot of information on social media about how people identify as their persona, or I think it's called fursona.
Mhm.
Or is it, if it's more of like an artistic, like you said, anthropomorphic drawings, if it's any different than that.
For me personally, it's more artistic, but I definitely know some people who are like, this animal is very personal to me as part of my identity. Like, I I feel more I feel a connection to foxes or wolves or something like that that I can express through my art and like through wearing a costume and stuff like that. And I think that that's really neat. Me personally,
Yeah.
I just like to draw the funny little characters doing like human things, like wearing cool clothes and stuff. But
Yeah. And it's more of like a community question, but what are some of your favorite aspects of being involved in the community, but whether it be in person or online?
mm, well, like I said, I'm kind of new to the community, but I really just like the sort of sense of acceptance and like, unapologetically, uh, you can be a little weird as a furry. Like the thing is like you're dressing up as an animal, and it's funny and it's fun and it's a little odd and strange, and that's something that you get to embrace basically.
Awesome. Yeah. No, that is definitely great to have a community of people that like no matter how strange you are to the outside world, that you have a pe group of people that think it's cool. Um, and you mentioned to me that you're new in the community in Asheville and new to the community like in general. Um, but how did you like hear about the community, I guess, or like how did you figure out that this is what you wanted to do?
Oh, I guess that it would be through the internet, because I I have a lot of friends who are active in the community, like making art and such. And I have a few who also are fursuiters. And I've always kind of thought that it was interesting. And I think that even without the friends in the community, I would still be making art with like funny little animals, just doing doing human kind of things. But I think that that has kind of helped rid me of like the sort of stigma, I guess, because some people just don't like the way that they don't like it, and I honestly don't really get that because it's just we're just having fun here, you
Right.
know?
Yeah. I feel like it's any other hobby that people have that like might be like a little unconventional. Like any other type of art, I feel like would be in the same sort of realm. But I know you mentioned to me that you weren't super like involved quite yet in the club in UNC Asheville, but have you guys done anything as a club yet, or is it still just in progress?
It's still in progress. Like they're setting up the Discord, and we're hoping to like maybe have a get together or something at
Oh,
some
cool.
point. And I think the closest thing to that that there has been like I said at Rocky Palooza, where several people decided to wear their fursuits, and yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. Um, do you feel like you would ever become like a suitor, or are you just sticking to art, do you think?
It seems like a lot of work to make a suit. I know that it can be quite expensive, but
Yeah,
I
I
am
know that.
very into costuming and things like that. So if I ever had the time and the money to do it, I think that I would for sure make a costume like that. I think that it would be a lot of fun.
That does sound really cool. Do you have like any, not like advice, but like any words of outreach that you'd like to say to the UNC Asheville community about getting involved in the club or the community?
If if you're interested, just go for it. I did, and I'm having a blast.
That's
Even though
awesome.
it's still pretty in its newer stages, I'd say that I'm enjoying what we've got a little group chat. We're having fun. I think that things are going well.
Awesome. I'm really glad to hear it. Well, thank you so much, Ruby. I had a great time in this interview and I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for everything.
Absolutely. Thank you.